Thanks to a loosening of pandemic restrictions, there is more the Student Programming Board can do to cater to Quinnipiac students. If you were late for class last week, you weren't alone. Whitney Avenue was closed all day last Wednesday, causing massive amounts of traffic. Quinnipiac University is known for many things, like a law program that attracts many students each year. But in the past few weeks, the university has been on the receiving end of a class action lawsuit. The winter has been doing a few more punches, even after spring has begun. As you saw yesterday, there was some snow, especially if you were living on York Hill like me and you were at those higher altitudes. It's still only been one day since Quinnipiac has even announced the measures, and it remains to be seen what allowing students to not wear masks indoors will do for COVID-19 on campus. The SGA is meeting right behind me right now at the CCE building. The Adobe initiative was proposed at the end of last month, while Student Health Services have been dealing with contact tracing as a part of their overall response to COVID-19. According to Dr. David Hill, there have been some concerns with the workload. But with 2021 in full swing, the pandemic has been slowing down, which means interest in travel has been rising. While the policy has changed since students had to wear masks outside last year, some students are looking to see further if cautious change. The 2021 Goshen Stampede is finally back on track after being canceled last year. The annual Colonial Concours d'Elegance took place on Father's Day this year, bringing many proud car owners to the Hawk Ridge Winery in Watertown, Connecticut. All manner of automobiles were showcased at the event, from high-end cars to vintage classics to really vintage classics to even a famous participant, a 1971 Cadillac sedan once owned by the one and only Elvis Presley himself.
This is the first time we've been here, so we've done other events. So we've done some charity events too. So we did a Tea for 200 in Washington, so a few years ago. We bought it from people who actually won it in an auction, and they were big Elvis fans, and they were selling their car because obviously it's huge and it was taking up their whole garage. And so they wanted to buy motorcycles, and they decided to sell it, and we bought it. And that's it. And we're both Elvis fans too, so yeah.
For many people, this year's car show was the first one they've ever been to. For some, however, they've been showcasing their automobiles for years or even decades. For Ford Model T owner Anthony Fusco, this year's Colonial Concours d'Elegance is only a drop in the bucket in his experience with this lifelong vehicle.
Model T Ford Roadster. I bought it here in Watertown. I paid, believe it or not, $15 for the car when I bought it. And I had it ever since. I'm now 89 years old.
God bless you.
And I've had it, next month will be 71 years that I've had it in my possession. So, I restored it in 1970. It runs like a top.
The biggest demographic to show up on Sunday, though, is the namesake of the holiday, fathers. Dads turned up in droves for the Father's Day event, either showing off their hot rods or being taken to view some automobile eye candy with their families. I even had the opportunity to bring my dad to the Colonial Concours event, where he was able to showcase his own 2008 Porsche 911 Carrera 4.
This is a great Father's Day treat because my sons are here with me, and we're getting to enjoy these beautiful cars in this beautiful winery in Litchfield County, Connecticut, on this gorgeous summer, well, pre-summer day. And we're around other car enthusiasts, and everybody's very relaxed and just having a great time.
The sunny day, filled with hundreds of people, was a success for the planners of the event and for the Hawk Ridge Winery, where the car show took place. And for the many people who came, the show was a welcome change from the many annual events last year, which were canceled due to the pandemic. But with how things went on Sunday, it only means that things finally seem to be moving well on the racetrack as summer has started and the year moves on. This ferry may seem like an ordinary boat doing its ordinary job, But as with all things in Connecticut, there is more behind it than you might think. Even here at Quinnipiac, the magic of Connecticut is already on full display. However, you don't have to travel far to see more of what this state has to offer. You don't have to go farther than to ride the Chester-Hadlime Ferry, a ferry service running across the Connecticut River between the towns of Chester and Hadlime. Many people might hitch a ride on the boat to visit local landmarks, including the nearby Gillette Castle up on the cliffside. The real treasure, though, is the history of the ferry itself and how far the service stretches back. In fact, the actual ferry service started even before the founding of the United States. It all began in 1769, when a local Connecticut man, Jonathan Warner, started operating a ferry between the land he owned on both sides of the river. It was even used to help transport supplies during the Revolutionary War. However, Robert Maselli, historian at the Chester Historical Society, says the quaint wonder that is the Chester-Hadlime Ferry has continued to be a big part in Chester history since the beginning.
It's a fun adventure, and it's in a historic part of town. There were a lot of pieces of Chester history involved with the ferry itself, including the people that initially started it.
If you're ever headed up that way, be sure to board the Chester-Hadlime Ferry and experience a piece of Connecticut almost as it was over 250 years ago. For Q30 News, I'm Luca Triant. A $10,000 reward has been put out for information leading to the discovery of a missing Yale employee. However, it's been nearly 2 months since the man went missing to begin with. Anton Sovetov, a graphic designer at the Yale Office of Public Affairs and Communications, has been missing since February 5th. Members of the Yale community were informed of the situation first on February 17th, but a $10,000 reward to find him was not announced until March 31st. Few people on the Quinnipiac campus have heard of the missing case up until the reward was announced, to which Quinnipiac professor Wasim Ahmad said was a symptom of a bigger issue.
It's often the case that minorities, men, that sort of group does not get the representation when they go missing. He's been missing for a month. Why are we only really hearing about it now?
Some students were shocked to hear the news so long after Sovetov went missing.
You'd think that maybe even a day or two after like a missing person was like kind of like found out and stuff, that they'd like have flyers up like immediately.
Others think compared to incidents that gathered national attention, things should have been done sooner.
Maybe with Gabby Petito being a woman, maybe it's getting more coverage because it had to do with a relationship between a woman and a man.
As to why the police put out a reward now, Professor Ahmad believes there is an incentive to get others to act, even so late in the search.
In this day and age, the most common way that the police solicit information is through social media channels and online ways. And so offering some sort of award can bring some attention to these social media channels that then people can offer tips.
Despite being missing for so long, the search for Sovetov continues. With the reward now out in public, more people will be able to see what's going on and lend their eyes to the search. Reporting for QNN Live, I'm Luca Triant.